Morning, guys. How are we doing? I hope you've had a great weekend. This is now Sunday morning for me. I'm just jumping on now. I'm going to briefly run through the news with you for last week and this week coming. I'm going to run through the currency pairs, strong, weak, and neutral, and I'm then going to discuss the trades that we have at present, i.e., where are we? AUD CAD, and potential things that we are looking out for. Okay, so it's looking very well just now. And I'll cover it in detail once we cover that part, and I will show you it on the overview on PMT. So let's get cracking. So let's see, last week, go back to the filters. I'm going to take everything out except I do them all individually, but I always do these three together, right? And that's because they can affect each other. So Aussie, let's have a look. Anything that we need to care about. I won't cover everything, lads. Only the stuff that we actually care about. China. So the CPI year on year for China came in good. So it's growing, right, which is good. The CPI in China growing means that it gives strength to AUD. Okay. PPI year on year is still low, but it is getting better. See, it is growing. So it was previously 2.8. It's still minus 2.8. It's still minus 2.5, which is not good, but it is growing. So it's showing steps in the right direction. Okay. Let's see what we've got next week for AUD and New Zealand. Inflation expectations. Okay, we can have a look at that. Wage price index. We'll have a look at this. And then we've got Aussie employment change and unemployment rate. So that's they're going to be important. And then we've got retail sales in China, industrial production, etc. Okay, so we've got some important news coming up this week, predominantly Thursday for the AUD. All right. Let's go back. I'm just going to fly through this, lads. We don't need to spend a lot of time on it. For anyone that's new and you want to go through this in great detail, you will find it on the Swing Trade Education. I believe it's video 1 and 2, or there's 2 parts of it, all right, where I go through the news events like really in depth for you. When we do the weekly review, try and keep the video short as possible. IVPMI came in good. Remember, anything above 50 is positive, and it came in 63, a good jump up, which is quite good. We get a little bit of strength for the Canadian dollar. Here, unemployment change has been fantastic. Unemployment rate is kind of sticky here, but the employment has went up, so that's a good sign. I would kind of put CAD still kind of neutral to weak, okay, or weak to neutral, however you want to look at it. It is predominantly weak, but we are seeing, some positive signs here. Just seeing this one thing isn't enough to instantly take you into Canadian dollar being strong, right? And remember, oil makes a huge difference on Canadian dollar. So if oil is going up, then Canadian dollar will have a kind of false strength to it, okay? But I am going to cover that with you when we cover the AUD Canadian dollar trade, okay? Let's see, we've got nothing really for next week that we care about on Canadian dollar. Okay, so let's move on. Unemployment rate, okay. Nothing really for CHF. We know that really, right? CHF doesn't really... PPI month on month, nah. Okay, so we don't really care about anything on the Swiss franc. We've done China, we don't want that. Okay, euro. So euro is taking a bit of a pounding. Remember, on euro, we only really care about France and Germany. Okay, we don't really care about Spain and Italy, etc. German final services PMI is good. Anything above 50 is strong. French final service PMI is strong. Okay, again strong. So we have got mixed data, but let's see. German factory orders are they're increasing slightly. They're still minus, but they're increasing. Let's have a look. Euros. Okay, so that was quite decent news from the euro. all right, nothing spectacular, but it is quite decent. I'd still put it, for me, euro is still kind of, it's like roundabout neutral. I wouldn't quite say it's weak just now. It seems to be kind of getting some legs from somewhere and growing slightly. So let's see what next week brings. We're going to have German CPI month on month. That'd be good. French CPI, okay. Flash GDP quarter on quarter, okay. And core CPI year on year. That's going to be, I don't know why that's yellow. That's a huge deal. Final CPI and final core CPI year on year. So that's going to be a big deal for the euro, okay, to see what it is. But it's kind of, in my opinion, it's just kind of floating around that neutral status just now, okay? So let's see what next week has to bring. The pound. Construction PMI is good. Retail sales are down by a big jump, which is not good. So it's a little bit of mixed data there. This one here, MPC official bank rate votes. Okay, so that means that 7 people have voted not to reduce, not to cut rates, and 2 people have voted to cut them. Okay, 2 people have voted to cut rates, 7 people have voted not to cut them, which is growing from previously. So what does that, what can you kind of get from that? It's kind of telling you that the people in the kind of know who have the power to make things happen, they're kind of saying that we're probably going to have to start cutting rates soon. So it hasn't been done yet, but you can see and it's still not going to be done because there's still, 7 outpowering 2. However, you can see that they're kind of pushing towards that direction of potential rate cuts. So it could be June, could be July, and so on. But people are now are really pushing that the highest potential for rate cuts is actually the euro, and it's probably going to be in June. Okay, so it doesn't mean it's going to be, but most people have the kind of consensus that the euro is going to cut rates in June. So that would be, if you were, for example, if you were in euro GBP, that would be a massive sell. Okay, that would just absolutely melt. So let's get ready for that coming up. Not right now, but it's coming up in the not so distant future. Official bank rates are the same, so there's no rate cuts, right? Government Bailey speaks. When he was giving his speak, everything was just dovish. Everything was just talking about rate cuts, rate cuts, rate cuts. Okay, so they're kind of gearing up to potentially cut rates. They're not yet, but they're gearing up for it, right? So you have to bear that in mind. GDP month on month was good. Prelim GDP was good. Construction output, not so good. Trade balance, little bit better, but it's obviously still not good. Everything else seems fairly all right. So pound is still fairly decent. It's kind of, rangy. Claimant count change, that will be important next week. That's on Tuesday. Average earnings index, that is going to be important. Unemployment rate, that's going to be important. Yeah. So, okay. So we've got good GBP news on Tuesday this week coming up. Okay. So let's bear that in mind. Japanese yen, we all know is dog shit, but let's have a look. Last week. Average earnings, not good. Household spending is down year on year, so that's not good. Bank lending, 0.1% year on year. Current account, okay. We all know the Japanese yen's not in a good place. So we have got PPI year on year on Tuesday. That's going to be big news for the Japanese yen. We've got prelim GDP quarter on quarter, prelim GDP price index. So yeah, we've got Japanese news Tuesday and Thursday next week. I don't know why they're yellow because these are things that make the market move. They should be red. They are high impact for this pair. And finally, on this part of it, before we go into technical analysis, let's look at USD. So economic optimism is dropping. Unemployment claims are through the roof, so that's not good. The last time we saw unemployment claims at this level was November 16th, 2023, and then the last time we saw them at that level again was August. Yeah, so not good. Okay, so that's a bit of weakness there for the USD. Consumer sentiment, not good. Inflation expectations, federal budget balance. So it's not really that good for the USD. That's probably why we're seeing it kind of rangy just now. It's not having any strength, but it's not flying and it's not melting. It's just kind of holding its own in a range. Let's have a look for this week coming up. Tons of news. So I think I actually said that last week on a couple of my videos. The reason why markets were a bit shitty is because there wasn't really that big, there wasn't a lot of big movement news on the USD, and most of the big players are waiting for this news. Okay, so this week is going to be a big week for USD. Now, you have to bear in mind when the USD is strong, it makes the Aussie dollar weak. Okay, and remember, we are in Aussie CAD. We're in Aussie CAD sales, and some of you are in Aussie USD sales, it's perfectly fine. I'm going to cover it again, as I said, in a minute, but we have to remember these numbers. Okay, so if Aussie comes in strong, then that's really what we want to see, because then Aussie is going to become weak. So Aussie CAD is going to absolutely melt. Aussie USD is going to absolutely melt, and so on. Okay, so we really need these numbers to come in strong, and that will be fantastic for us. If these numbers come in weak, and let me just think. If these numbers come in weak, and let me try and include that with oil. So for AUD CAD to go in our favor, one, we want these numbers to come in strong, okay? And in terms of oil, we want oil to actually push up, really, to give us that extra strength. If it doesn't, it doesn't matter. But if it did, then, or even if it just cut about in the range, that would be good for us, okay? But if oil starts pushing up, then it wouldn't be good for us. So I don't believe it's going to do that, actually, and I'll cover it on the chart, like I said. So we're really waiting for this. Tuesday, big day for the USD, and Wednesday is a massive day for USD, okay? And then Thursday, we've got unemployment claims. So this is a really big week coming up for the USD, guys, okay? So let's bear that in mind. Now I'm going to jump across to the technical analysis side of things. So we are in this. We entered around here, I believe. We entered here, took it down. Look at that. Look, you see that when it hits these areas, right, it hits them on all time frames. All time frames, it hits them. Look, there's the, right there. If you look at that white candle, there's your little order block there, or you can call it imbalance, whatever you want. Your little order block, boom, away it goes, comes back up, hits, and away. And I'm pretty sure I actually mentioned in the group, if anyone had missed this trade, then this is your area to get back into it, okay? So we're still in this. I'm still loving it. I believe it can push down to here. And if we come across the prime market terminal, let's click on AUD CAD. Let's see what the new, this is the fresh numbers from this Friday, right? Let's see what the new numbers are. Seasonality is in our favor, that it should be sales. Let's have a look. I know we didn't see it there, but I memorized it from the other day. Let's have a look at COT. This thing takes ages sometimes to bloody load up, but it's a great tool. Look at that. All the banks and everything are in sales, right? They're all in sales. And let's have a look at DXM, which is Dumb Money Retailers. I believe they're in sales as well. So you've got all the banks and you've got all the retailers that are all in sales, pretty much, okay? So for us to be in buys, AUD CAD right now is a little bit ridiculous. It's not the smartest thing to do. So we're in the right way, all right? We are in alignment. I do believe overall it's buys. However, we are in a good position now to ride this retracement down to the next level. Then we can get out and then we can flip back into buys when the timing is right, okay? Come on. Is this thing taking so bloody long? It does this all the time. They need to get a grip of this. There we go. Look at that. So normally we want to do the opposite of them, right? But it's the opposite when COT aligns with it. Okay, overview. Let's have a look. Oh, is it COT? I'm going to show you a bit in COT as well. And maybe it's pattern. Let me just check. I think it might be pattern. I'm going to show you something else on here. Let me check. No, it's not here. It's either seasonality or pattern. Let's have a look. There we go. Look at this here. The forecast seasonality prediction. It's just melt, 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 melt. Okay. So over this next up to 40 days, it's just predicted to be an absolute melt. And here's the percentages of probabilities. Here is look. So we've already entered here. If you look on the daily, we've entered here, and away it goes. Boom, boom, boom. So yeah, we're in a good trade, lads. There's nothing more we can do, right? If this comes back up for some act of God and stops us out and just carries on going up, then there's nothing we could do because we've done everything right. And like I said, all the banks are in sales as well, okay, and that hasn't changed. So it's actually more. See, look, 2 weeks ago they came out of buys, they came out again, and they've dropped even more. So that's fantastic. They've increased their shorts. Okay, so happy days. Let's have a look at the markets potentially going to give us this week. Okay, nothing there. Nothing there. AUD USD, yes, we could enter sales there. However, for this, guys, I would not be entering until we get this news on Tuesday. Okay, so I'll jump on when it's core CPI. It's 7:30 p.m. for me, so I think that's like 1:30 p.m. for you guys in the UK. I'll jump on and do a live trading session, and we can trade this together. Okay, and then the next night, Wednesday night, I will do another live trading session where we can lump into these trades or close the trades. So that's how we're going to work it. Okay, because you always need a plan for the news. So beautiful area for sales. Let's see what that news brings. I don't know why I'm looking at these. These are shit pairs. Euro AUD came to our area again, but yeah, it's not in an area of value, right? It's in a good trade area, but it's not. This would be value. This would be value. This would be value, but this for me is not value. So that's a very, very key component to trading, guys. You have to make sure that when you're doing a buy or a sell, it's in an area of value. All right, it's very important. If it's not in an area of value, don't buy it. What's this? Euro GBP. This has the potential to melt long term, okay? Because we're waiting. Everyone believes that the euro are going to cut their rates first before everyone, and if that is the case, then this will just absolutely melt. All right. So this week we may look to enter a smaller position here with a larger stop loss, maybe up here, and just let it run. Whether it comes back or forward, we don't care. We're just going to let it run and see if it hits down. Okay. Euro USD. Well, I mean, it depends on the news on coming up this week. So what you might find is on Tuesday, the numbers will be poor. So this will pull up, right? And then on Wednesday, the numbers will be great, and then it will absolutely melt. It's this type of scenario that makes the markets move, right? So let's play it by ear. Nothing here. Don't really have any. It doesn't look like there's any more pair updates, and that's Goppin for now, lads. Goppin. Nope. Yes. So I'm going to turn that off. GBP NZD. Yes. We will be looking to buy this, lads. I'd like to see it come back down. So I'm going to get rid of this now, right? Here's the two options I'd like to see. It's either going to go like this, right? Boom. Something along these lines, that kind of thing, right? Or if we've missed it and this is the run, then it's going to go with that. Then it's going to pull back down. Then we're going to enter, and then it's going to go. All right. So these are the two options where you've never missed the trade. All right. The bus always comes back. So yeah, this is a very good potential lineup for this week coming, guys. Let's keep our eyes on that. Obviously, it came back here even better, but I believe it's probably going to bounce here. It may come up, retest this, and then melt. So we have to bear that in mind. What it may do is it may go like this. Bang. Reject on the 200. Fall. Boom. We may get this. You may get this type of move, all right? That would be fantastic. So we just have to bear it in mind. But obviously the pound is far stronger than the NZD, so the chances of it, the probability of it coming down to here is quite slim unless we get really bad news, okay? GBP USD, exactly the same. We need to wait for that news on Tuesday. Okay, so I don't really want to be selling from here. I'd like to be selling from up here. This is an area of value. This is not. NZD USD coming back into the area. This is where we took it before, right? This was the last CPI. And I done that in a live trading as well. Myself and Mass Chris jumped on this. We doubled in and loaded up in position, scaled in here, took it down. I'd love to see it. You can tell this is an area of value. Look, see? And then it broke, bang, bang. So I'd love to see this come in here and melt. So, yep, NZD USD is good. Let's see, pound again. Okay, we'll just wait for that. NZD USD, phenomenal for this week. I'm going to write that down. NU. What else have we got? I'm just going to make a note. GN, okay. GN, potentially GU, okay. Let's see what else we've got, lads. Nothing there. USD CAD. So I would like to see it pull down into this area. So that's a potential. We have to wait for Tuesday. UC. Let's see, USD GPY. Nothing really nice there. Nothing nice there. So I'm going to close that off, because I don't need to keep my eye on that. Oil, we definitely want to keep an eye on that. And look what was happening here. So it didn't come right back up. It just broke this little kind of area of imbalance here. Again, we don't. So we're in this kind of sticky situation right now, right? Where we are in AUD CAD sells, right? So if AUD is strong and Canadian dollar is quite weak, it had some good news, giving it some strength, but it's quite weak, and oil does melt down to here, right? Well, that would then kind of show you that AUD CAD would potentially be buys, right? Because then the Canadian dollar wouldn't have any strength from the oil, and their economy's pretty fucked, right? So that would then give us this weird thing that our AUD CAD trade wouldn't play out. So what we may find is we just this is still night and day. This is the best area for us to buy from. I mean, if oil comes to here, we will be doing cartwheels, lads, and then we're going to buy the shit out of it and just let it run. Okay, that's the bottom line. But what it may do is, you know, it may come down. It may start coming back up again. This might come up to here. And while it's coming up to here, it may give us that chance of the Canadian dollar being strong and pulling AUD CAD down, right? On the AUD, oh no, I know this is oil, but you know what I mean, pulling the AUD CAD down, which is in alignment with our sales, the bank sales, and so on. And then, but then when it finally gets to here for oil may, of course, start melting, which would then turn it around for AUD CAD and make AUD CAD become buys again. Okay, so this is how we have to kind of view it. We have to put everything in context. It's not just as it's not plain sailing, but this is a good area of value. You can see they've loaded up on orders here and then took it away. Exactly the same here. They could load up on orders. It's one of those strange ones. You know, we want to see oil come down to here, but it may react from here. So we just have to bear it in mind, right? If we've missed that little sell here, who cares? Because it could bounce around. We really need to see what it does this week, okay? So yeah. Well, and this will also determine if we're going to close AUD CAD or keep it running. But so far, I'm keeping it open. You've seen, you know, there's overwhelming probability data and evidence that it's going in our favor for sales, okay? This is British oil. It's exactly the same. So when we trade American oil, we will trade British oil at the same time because they both move together. Gold, you lads had a cracking week on gold. I mean, this wee area here is what you were actually scalping. You know, it's crazy to see it because this is in the 4 hour, but this is actually what you were scalping just in this area here. And then obviously you guys caught the run, right, the long, which is beautiful. But look, if you look on my 4 hour, it came straight back into the area, lads. Retested that area, bang, 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 done the liquidity grab, and away it goes. You know, this area just works. Well, these areas just work the whole time. For me, I wouldn't have bought it here. This is one of these areas where it's a good trade, but it's not a good deal. So I would have walked away. I'm waiting for it to hit here, then I would buy it, or waiting for it to hit here, then I would buy it. Okay, definitely not selling gold, but I'm definitely not buying it from up here. Again, based on my method, I know that you guys doing the scalps is very different, and that's fine. This came down, retested beautifully. I'm just waiting to really see what Indice does next. It came down and tested this area. Look, picture perfect. If you had marked this up, if you had marked up that area of imbalance there, boom, comes down for the liquidity grab, and away it goes. Right? It's just fucking. It's brilliant how it pans out every time. Look at that. Look, bang, bang. It just happens. I mean, there's fundamental reasons why it does that, right? And it's all these news moves. So just to wrap up, lads, I don't want to fucking drag this on. It's already 25 minutes. You now get the deal. Our trades this week are a Aussie dollar CAD, New Zealand dollar USD, pound New Zealand dollar, pound USD, and USD CAD. You can also do Aussie USD as well, okay, which I'm just gonna load up in the swing trade part, the swing trade setups for you right now, lads. Remember, if you've got any people who are interested, invite them along. We're offering a free month for them to come in and see what it's like. At least once or twice a week now, for big news moves, I'm going to be doing live on YouTube. I won't do them all the time because it kind of takes away from you guys being in the group. That's a kind of perk to the group, is that we do live trading. But at the same time, we do have to kind of grow it and share with people out there that we are in the trading world, and we're more than happy to do live trading, and this is what we offer in the group. So it's a kind of marketing approach for us to show people, look, we're the real deal. We're doing it right in front of your eyes. Come and try us out for a month. So once or twice, depending on news, once or twice I'll do lives on YouTube as well each week. All right, lads. So you can invite your friends to that. They can check it out and they can get involved. Let's have a great week. Let's go.